Hello everybody, it is Tammy with Stamp and Scrap Tammy back with you again for our surprise Facebook Live where I'm going to do like a question and answer session. I'm going to just like move over a little bit while I wait for a few people to join in. I do have a bunch of questions, so if nobody joins this live, I'm still going to answer them whether somebody's here or not. So I'm gonna like move over this way. I gotta show you, so I feel like I'm backwards, but I'm not. Look at that, I cleaned up. So little different view of the room right now. I said I was gonna clean up, so that's why I have to like share, because I actually cleaned. Now I'm not gonna span the other way because that's a little messy. I have a whole table right here of like paper share stuff I'm working on. And then over here, I have like all my orders and notebooks and stuff. So this isn't even my office. This is just like, I have a messy office too. So I'm like getting going. So anyways, hello everybody. Looks like we got lots of you watching. I'm gonna just wait a minute and then I have to go to my computer. I didn't get a chance to write down the questions that were asked on the thread. So I'm gonna answer the ones that were on the post that said I was coming back right now. So I'm not sure what that exactly said. I think it just said question and answer or something like that. And then I'll answer any of them that come along here too. So I'll look at those first and then I'll cross-reference here. And how I'm gonna do the prize patrol, I believe like every 5 questions I answer or so, or that are asked, I will give out that. So like if I answer 5 questions and I'll put everybody's name in a drawing and I'll give that many prizes away. And those, the kind of prizes I have, now I'm gonna vary, the value will all be about $5 or so. But it'll depend on, so like if you're a local person, I might give you something that like is not shippable, you know? So like I have some of this sprinkle ink. Oh, this is like a $12 thing. So I have some like this sprinkle ink, and then I have like the stars. Those are pretty shippable. Shippable, again, I'm making up words. It's getting late. It's 8 o'clock at night. I would have done this at 7, but we are back in activity mode here in Minnesota. So with masks, kind of funny. My son plays hockey, so he has to show up like to hockey in all of his gear, and he's a goalie, so he like barely fits in the car, and then he's got to wear his hockey mask and then like a mask too, which is fine. Like he's not complaining, he's just happy to be back. And then Allison is back at dance. So from our Facebook Live when I ended at 10 after 4, we had supper, ran around to activities. Now he's back home. She's still at dance, but she gets a ride home. So she'll be popping in here at some point. Anyway, so here's like some more of the prizes. Lots of little doodads that I have in here. I just have like a whole bin full of stuff. So if you've ever attended a live event, what I do, usually when there's a starter kit special, during the event, we'll do like a question and answer, and people can ask things that they're like dying to know about being a cafe crafter or my Stamping Up business. So if you have another crafty question, we'll have to do something like that another time. You can ask it here, that would be great. And then I can make sure I address it, because there's not a lot of times that I do just like question and answer things. Usually we're always stamping, showing products, showing projects, things like that. So now that I'm getting more into this, it's been a year since I've been doing this full time. I'm ready to add some of this stuff in. I'm thinking like a Tackle It Tuesday or a Tuesday Talk or something like that, where I can answer questions like that. Maybe not every week, but sometimes. So looks like we have so many of you watching. So you know what? I was going to do this as a Zoom, but even after I've been doing this, so 5 years tomorrow, my anniversary, I'm reading these. I'm like, I can't read and talk at the same time because I want to like answer them right away. What was I gonna say? Oh, I was going to do this as a Zoom. Okay. And so even after 5 years, so when I first started, I was afraid like nobody would show up to my events. This is like, I'm going to tell you like my biggest secret as a demonstrator, what I did. Okay. I can't even believe I'm saying this out in the public world. And most people that know me well know that I did this. Okay, so I had this big fear when I started. I didn't even tell anybody for like 2 months that I started doing this. And then somebody asked me like, what, you're selling Stamping Up? I'm like, well, I'm not really selling it. I'm just like, getting some stuff. And they said, well, you should do a card class. Ginger, I think it might have been Ginger that suggested it, and then some other people. And so anyways, that kind of evolved to doing a class. But okay, so I back up a little bit. I did the classes at a cafe that my mom and I ran. So my mom, up until last year, my mom and I ran a cafe together for 26 years. 26 years, that's a lot of years to run a cafe. And so anyways, I started like, I was even embarrassed to like ask her if I could sell cards there, because I thought, oh, what if somebody doesn't like my cards? I was so worried somebody would think my cards were ugly. and then they wouldn't know that they were mine. And so then when they would come up to the cash register and pay and they would say they were ugly, then I would be really self-conscious. So that's why I didn't want to sell cards. I think it's so funny now. And believe it or not, over the years, people did think some of my cards were ugly. And I, you know, probably the first time I thought, oh gosh, I should work on that. And then after that, I thought it was funny. Like, you know, if they thought they were ugly, then they, you know, whatever. It doesn't matter, right? And not everybody's style is the same. And you know what? Let's face it. Maybe sometimes they were ugly. There was probably a point in time that I have, in my span of making cards, I have made an ugly card, you know, right? Not everything is always sunshine and butterflies. Okay, so I don't even know what I'm talking about. Oh, back to the sign up. So that was selling cards. So eventually I got over my fear, started selling cards. And then I would put my sign up. So my sign ups would be next to where my card display was for card class. So I did one card class a month. I started in January. So 5 years ago, January, I signed up. In March, I did like a little mini thing where I invited just my friends to come to the cafe for a Sunday afternoon, and we did some crafting and a little card class. I think I charged them like $10. And then they wanted to do it again, so I put a sign-up sheet out for a card class in April. And I won't go through the mess of how that card class went. If you were there, you know what happened at that card class. And it is so funny that I ever did another one after my first 2 months, but then I regrouped and got organized. But anyway, so I put these sign-up sheets at the cafe, and I put fake names on the sign-up so that it would look like people were coming to my classes. And I made my mom come, and I made this lady Jen come that worked at the restaurant. And my friend Michelle, that was, she's my direct upline. She lives way up in Maple Grove. She was signed up for about 7 months. And then so was my friend Stacy Kratz. Stacy, she lived way up in Duluth. So I signed her up for every single class. So anyways, that was kind of funny. And then after about 7 months or so, I decided, okay, I got enough people signed up. I don't need to have fake people signed up anymore. So funny story. Okay, let's get to the questions. All right, I hope you guys aren't getting bored with me already. And I hope I'm in the right spot. I got so excited to start talking to you all that I didn't even look. And as you can tell, I get pretty excited about my stamping now. I am in love with Stampin' Up! And my job. In fact, I've said this a couple times during the like 11 o'clock live. I always get these calls in the morning, you know, telemarketers, we all do. But it's this like recording guy who says something about changing my career. What? I'm not going to change my career. I love what I do. And I did love what I did before. I heard you guys I'm reading that some of you are talking about the cafe and that you love the food. And Virgil just said she loved seeing the cards there. That is where I met a lot of people. And I'm so thankful for that. And I'm thankful for all of the time that I was able to work at the cafe with my mom. It was phenomenal. And I saw that Aline asked, Aline, I gotta say that right. Aline asked what made me change to do this full time. So let's see. Let's back up about 2 years ago, I would say it would be. Maybe 2.5. It was August, so it would have been 2 years this August or July. Before my husband and I went on the Alaskan cruise through Stampin' Up, I was really moving into this more as a full-time thing. And I'm trying to find the questions here, so until I find them, I'll just ramble. So my mom and I had a conversation about that time that she was going to want to retire last January. So it was actually about 1.5 years prior to her retirement that we had a conversation about her retiring and me purchasing the cafe or not purchasing the cafe. And so while my husband and I were in Alaska, we really thought about it and talked about it and where we were going as a family and how much time I was able to be at home. And with the cafe, it was very little. I worked about probably 50 to 60 hours a week outside of the house. And then I was doing some stamping on top of it. That started as a hobby that went back, you know, into this full-time thing. And so that is when we decided that we were not purchasing the cafe. Had not made a decision if it was going to be a full-time Stampin' Up! Thing at that time, but we decided that I would pursue it and see where it went. And then last January, we would make the final decision. And then we would take this whole year. My husband is actually working a little bit more than full-time at his job. We would decide if I would continue to do it. I'm going to continue to do it. So anyways, they love having me home. I love being home and I love doing this. So it's wonderful. It's so flexible and wonderful. So, okay, I'm still trying to find these questions. This is like, so if anybody asked, they probably didn't, what my biggest struggle is Facebook. It's Facebook and it being different every single time. And so like now it's not letting me find it. It's just going like to the afternoon post. And that's it. That's all that's there. So I'm going to have to take a minute here to find it. I'm going to try to like log out and then log back in. And then maybe it'll be there. And then I want to be able to see your questions too. So just give me a second. I got to stop talking and then we'll see. And then I'll go at the end to this. All right. Okay, so I'm on the Stamp Talk now, and I'm going to open up the questions. And this is just where it said Stamp Talk posts from earlier today. I'm going to look at those first, and then I'll go back. And so if you have to go, that's fine. And then just come back, watch later. But feel free to ask as many questions as you want. I'll do the best to answer, probably, in about a half hour or so. All right, so Elizabeth asked, she said she works tonight. So, and I know she works tonight. She works at Target, by the way, which is a fabulous place to go. Let's see. She said, in the starter kit, are you able to create your own picks or does it have to be the ones you have put together? So those ones I put together yesterday that I shared where it was a bunch of tools and then I just said a bunch of kits, those were just some suggestions. You can put whatever you want in the starter kit. The only thing that is kind of pre-organized is the paper pumpkin. It's a miscellaneous paper pumpkin that Stampin' Up! Sends you. And then the 5 free paper packs. So this I did write down. I saw Heather's question as well. What paper packs are in the kit? So those are pre-arranged. Those are the only 2 things out of that valued kit that are pre-arranged. Everything else you pick on your own. So the $125 can be anything. If you wanted to pick $125 in dimensionals, you could do that. If you want to pick $125 in kits or stamps and paper, ink, whatever you want. The only thing that is excluded is the paper pumpkin. You can't do a paper pumpkin subscription in that. And so otherwise, everything else I believe is fair game. There's nothing that I can think of that is not available in that. So $125, you pay $99, free shipping, and then you get the paper packs right now. That's kind of the exclusive deal right now. And it's the beginning of the quarter. So doesn't really matter to any of you. It's the beginning of our quarter. So when you do sign up, you do have the option to make purchases after that, obviously. And you can get 20% off of that. And then of course there's, endless opportunities to get more than that. But the very base level, you can get 20% off for your whole first quarter. So that would be January, February, March. And then they actually kind of waive that first quarter and you get the second quarter included. So the best deal is when you join the first month of our quarter, because you can go. So if you're wondering when, this is always a big question. Like, how long am I active? Do I have to do anything? What, all of that stuff. You don't have to do anything. You can purchase the $99 and say, adios, Tammy, you're out of here. You're crazy. I'm not going to do this anymore. Right? You're not going to do that. You're still going to watch and stuff like that. And you're going to use your stuff. But I'm just saying, if you don't want to make any more purchases, don't have to. Now, if you want to, here's how long your discount would be good for. January, February, March, okay? So you still haven't bought anything, just nothing's speaking to you yet. And then all of a sudden I show something in March, April, and you decide, ooh, maybe in April I do want to place an order. April's the start of our next quarter, which normally the rest of us, like me, if I didn't place an order, I'd be done. But when you first start, then they're going to give you April, the next quarter, April, May, and June. And then they're still going to say, well, she might need one more month. So then there's another grace month. So actually till July. So if you join right now and purchase that Happy Shopper Starter Kit, you actually have the opportunity to make purchases through July before you wouldn't be active anymore. Then you just go inactive. You can ask anybody that's done the kit and moved along afterwards. You can take it or leave it, or you can stick around. It's totally up to you. And now I'm going to answer, I believe it was Sherry's question. I'm going to jump to Sherry's. Let me see. Was it Sherry or Sheila? Okay, there was one on here. There was one. I'm not sure where it is, but it was, okay, it is Sheila. I'm gonna kind of piggyback Sheila's into this. And so, I just thought, Emily, if you want everything in the kit, you need to join the Cafe Crafters and save 20% on everything. At least get free shipping on 99 or 125 of it, actually. I want everything too. So it's hard to pick. I know. So yes, you can earn for free. There's lots of opportunities. So I'll go over that in a minute. But you can earn lots of stuff for free. I pretty much don't ever, at this level. Of course, when I first started, my hobby kind of just paid for itself. Now I earn a lot of free stuff where I don't have to pay for anything. But there's ample opportunities to earn free stuff, let me tell you. Okay, so Sheila had said, is a Cafe Crafter group. So when I say demonstrator group, our demonstrator group, so people that have purchased the starter kit, whether they've made a second purchase or not, we call ourselves the Cafe Crafters. That backs up to where we were meeting at the cafe. So that is where we had all of our stuff before I had this beautiful studio to meet in. And well, now we just get to see the studio until we can sometime meet again. However, our group has kind of grown, so we're not all local anyways. So there's always been an online portion to our group. We've always had a private Facebook group where we share lots of ideas and stuff. And we've always taped our Cafe Crafter meetings. So even when there was people coming in person, we'd always tape them so we could involve everybody. But now we're doing them through Zoom and recording more and things like that because we're not able to meet in person. Now for locals, we will someday meet in person again, but we're still going to continue that online portion of it. And so let's go back, Cafe Crafters. That's why our name is called the Cafe Crafters, because we used to meet at a cafe. We just haven't switched it. I like the name of it. It kind of has a good ring. So that's where we've kept it. And so, yes, people that are the Cafe Crafters have all purchased the starter kit. And that is how that works. You are part of the Cafe Crafter group. So like right now, if you join now, or between now and March, let's just say, you would be part of our Cafe Crafter group, regardless if you purchased another thing until the end of July. I don't really hassle anybody. Really? No, I don't at all. I don't hassle anybody. Like if you want to just come and go, that's fine. Absolutely fine. And then you can come back in August if you want, or you can come back next January, or you can stay forever and ever and ever and ever. So, my first recruit, Diane, she is still here. So we do have one demonstrator group. She's been with me for 4 years. And it used to be just like Diane and I in a room. And then we added like one more person. And then I remember I thought it was really cool when we had like 8 people at our first Christmas party. It was amazing. Amazing. Yeah. So then, gosh, I don't know, our Christmas party, we had that many people just on our Zoom. So I believe Heather also asked, how big is my team? So I believe I have right around 21 directs right now. I think I've had as many as like 32. So people come and go. That's all right. And then I'm not going anywhere though. And then our second level has about 10 to 12 people, I believe. I'd have to look to be sure. So our group kind of swivels between I think the most we've gotten up to is about 38. So my goal would be, I'd love to, get over 40. That'd be awesome. But whatever. I love sharing with everybody. So it's kind of, if you want to take it to the next level, you can do that. Let's call it just like my stamping the last 2 days, next level stamping, right? So anyways, or if you're a beginner, the starter kit is probably the best deal for a beginner person. So if you don't have a, stamp cut emboss machine, if you don't have a paper cutter, a simply scoring tool, you might as well save 20% and order it from yourself, is kind of how I see it. And then be part of the group and get all the extra creative ideas. Also, part of that, since I've evolved into a full-time demonstrator and, just spending, Connie just said, what a second level. There's no second level. I just said next level. Like if you want to take your hobby to the next level, joining and getting a discount is definitely a great opportunity. So let's see, where was I going with that? Since I become a full-time demonstrator and, kind of forced to move online last March without a choice, I wanted to move that way, but not quite as swiftly as it happened. So, but I've had to, and kind of along with that comes writing tutorials. And so I write some myself, and then I also partner with Gail Connolly. Most of you know her. What did I call her the other day? I don't know. I call her something funny. And I don't know if I told her that. So I'm going to have to go back and remember what I called her. But anyway, so Gail writes some of my tutorials too. work with her on that. And so those are shared. So some of you have purchased my classes and gotten those tutorials. Those tutorials are all sent for free to my team. So monthly, I send out all of the tutorials that were provided the month before. So anything that I sent out to anybody else that had to pay, they get for free. So there's a lot of creative ideas that our team gets. Okay, let me go to the next question on here. And I know I'm probably getting off subject. Like I said, I could probably talk about this forever. I'm going to give away tons of prizes. You guys are asking lots of questions. If I don't have your address, make sure you either fill out that door prize form. Okay, this is the only way I'm going to be able to get your address to send you free stuff. And fill out the door prize form, or send me a message with your mailing address and email. And then if you need a catalog, let me know. Somebody messaged me today that had placed an order and they need a catalog because they weren't on my mailing list yet. So, yeah. Okay. So let me get back to the question. I'm going to scroll through these because I'm seeing some pretty good ones. And all right. So Mary Jo, I pretty much answered yours. She asked, how did I get started in Stampin' Up? She said we don't think we'd ever talked about it because I started out as a scrapbooker. Yes, I started out as a scrapbooker. I was buying like every sticker that you could possibly buy from Hobby Lobby. Or archivers, you know, all over the place. I did not have one single friend that scrapbooked, but I wanted to do it. And I had heard through the grapevine, I don't even know who, that there's these retreat things. Well, I didn't have enough friends to go to a retreat. So I cold called. I'm not even kidding. I looked off of Craigslist. I could have been murdered, you people. Like I could be not here right now because I just went to Craigslist and typed in scrapbook retreat. I cold called a lady to go to her scrapbook retreat. And I went by myself. That's how I did it. And then I loved her. So Michelle is my upline. I went to her scrapbook retreats for like 3.5 years or so, and just scrapbooked. And they were always doing this Stampin' Up thing. And I thought it was like crazy because they had all these crazy colors. Most of you have heard this part. And I just thought they were nuts. Like real red crumb cake. I'm like, it's tan, it's red, people. You guys are nuts. And so, but eventually, you know, she would do these like Stampa stacks there where they were like, I don't know, $15 and you got to make 5 cards or something. And I started doing those and they're like, we're reeling you in. And, you know, and I spent hours over there going through my papers, trying to match them. And they're like, if you just did Stampin' Up, everything matches here. Right? Yeah, right. So eventually I learned and I started dabbling a little bit and getting a few more things. And then before you know it, Michelle asked if I wanted to get the starter kit special. And I said, well, you know, and my husband was actually moving from the military at the time into going back to school for nursing. So like our income was going to be like slashed in half. So no more craft supplies for Tammy. So I was like, I'm going to do this. And to stay active in order to get a few free things, Michelle and I talked that I could do, because she was kind of not doing those Stampa stacks anymore. And people at the retreats were asking like, why don't you do those? And of course I still wanted to go to crafting retreats. So, the deal was that I was going to be able to do those, and that's how I was going to stay active, and how I was going to pay for coming to her retreat still, was that she was going to let me do the Stampa stacks. Well, 5 years later, I still go to retreats with her, but I've not once had the time to do the Stampa stack, not one time. So I'm still waiting for that opportunity to come along. So if Michelle happens to be watching, Michelle, I'm going to take you up on that offer at some point. Anyway, so that's kind of how I got started. And then of course at the beginning, I decided, you know, to start running some classes. And I just did, for about a year, I did one class a month. And at Christmas time, I would do a special class, and Easter, and then graduation, I did a special one. And then I just kind of added things here and there very slowly. I never started anything until I mastered the thing that I was working on. All right. Deanna said, tell me more about this special at this time. So again, I went over that about the papers that are special right now. It's always a special deal because it's the free shipping and the extra $26 that you get. And Deanna also asked, what are my top three things about my Stampin' Up job? I love that I get to do this, actually. I think my first thing would be sharing and like seeing all of you. Of course, I'm so sad that I can't see you all. Like going to convention and seeing other crafters and the energy of being around other stampers. Like I could get together with, I'm going to call them, I don't know if I should call them that in case they're watching, my like normal friends. Like I can get together with my like regular friends like that I don't know through crafting, and they would be bored to death, like bored out of their mind. I'm trying to find something cute. And they would not find joy in this paper, right? They would not. They would be like, okay, Tammy, that's some paper. But if I share that paper with all of you, I know that even if it's online, you are oohing and ahhing and thinking it's like so pretty. And so that's what I love, is sharing with all of you the excitement and the joy of the craft that I love, and like sharing with you. So that would be the first thing. Second thing would probably be the flexibility and the being able to be at home, especially this year. Like at some points this year, I would say absolutely not. Please get me out of the house. I wish I had an essential job. Like when this first started, I said, I have got the most least essential job in the world. Like this is not essential. So obviously I don't need to leave the home to do this. And I would say like, oh gosh, sometimes I wish I could just, I'm going to go work. My other dream job was to be a grocery store checkout person, like click, 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 like running the stuff through. Like I thought that would be so fun. Well, self-checkout is taking care of that for me, so I don't need to go get a job doing that. But anyways, but overall, like I love being home with my children, and just, being able to be here since they're here. And like today, not having to juggle schedules so much. Now, you know, occasionally we do when I was doing live events, and eventually when we get back to them again. But for the most part, like being able to run to hockey and run to dance and not miss stuff. So I just love that. Yeah, Stamping Up not essential. I know it is, right? But probably not in person. I mean, we can probably get by. All right, so that's 2. 3, gosh, I don't know. Probably, of course, I covered the sharing and spending time with all of you, like-minded people, the flexibility, and the other part is probably the fortunate part that I have been able to travel. And so travel and having this room are probably tied. So I live to travel. Like that has always been my life's passion, is to be able to go places. And Stampin' Up! Has really allowed me to go to some places that I otherwise and still would not be able to afford. Like a person like me, I'm just like a regular person with a regular job, would not be able to go to Greece or Maui or anything like that. So that's pretty amazing. And then of course, this space. Virgil said, I amaze her. Oh, thank you so much. But creating pretty projects at the same time. Does Stampin' Up! Give me samples? Okay, so let me just read this. Does Stampin' Up! Give me sample ideas? And do you get to suggest ideas to Stampin' Up! For paper and tools? Yeah, you know, so they don't actually give me samples or anything. They give us a catalog, they give us conventions where other demonstrators share. There's the demonstrator planning place, it's called, which is a demonstrator ran, Stampin' Up! Runs it, but demonstrators can share on there different ideas and techniques. So I would say that's where I get the majority of my ideas from Stampin' Up! Is their catalog, their YouTube, their things that they share before catalogs go live, and then just my demonstrator friends. That's where most of the things come from. So, okay. I just saw Heather's comment, if you talk to me. We are going to do this again. I was so afraid nobody was going to watch. So next time we'll do it for Zoom. We'll do a Zoom the next time I do one of these. Okay. So now I'm going to try to move on. And so suggest paper and tools. Yes, they sometimes have focus groups that we can take part in. I haven't taken part in any lately. I have in the past. Like it was before my time, but the Stamparatus was a big demonstrator thing that they like had demonstrators working on it. So I knew nothing about it, but when they released it at convention, other people did because they had worked on it. Demonstrators are pretty hush-hush about that stuff though. So I haven't been on anything like real big, but they will send out like samples early. And, you know, when I first would get those emails to look at the catalog, so it'd be like, now I might get a catalog that's 1.5 years out. I would really get into it. And now I'm really actually pretty busy and really focused on what I'm using right now, that I will glance over it. But, you know, until you see samples, just seeing a picture of a image is not the same. So I don't take too much weight in those, but I do give my opinions on them. Carrie asked, how many hours a week do I work? do I put into my Stampin' Up! Consultant and advisor? Myself, okay, so when I started, let's just say I did one event a month, and I would work about 1.5 days a month on it as far as work. I worked on Sundays, so if I was doing all my events at the time, or classes were on a Monday, I would maybe work the day before, maybe a couple days, just a little bit like designing beforehand. But that was kind of more fun. And then I would spend one day cutting for that class, you know, maybe about 6 hours or so. Of course, now I do way more than that. It's hard to say how many hours I work. Probably if I actually sat down and was focused. Okay. So I don't know if we can count the times that I'm texting my other demonstrator friends, that we're FaceTiming, that we're having happy hour while we're making cards. Does that count? I don't know. But actual work, I would say if I actually sat down and figured out, probably about 30 to 40 hours a week, in a normal week. So pretty regular hours. I don't keep actual regular hours. So I usually start at 9 about, and then I take a break in the afternoon to run kids around. And then because my husband does work nights, my schedule is pretty freed up in the evening. So that's why when you do message me, I usually message back at really weird times, or any time that you message. There might come a day if he's not working nights or as much, or schedules change, that I might have to try to cut that back, where he'll say like, honey, do you always need to be talking to those people? But he loves you all too, and he loves to go on the trip. So, you know, so at this point he doesn't care, but there might come a time where I'm going to have to actually form some business hours, and I might, but right now I don't want to, I don't have to. I love communicating with all of you. All right. So new product come out. Do I have to pay for the products you use for demos, or do I get some samples? So I make all my own samples, and I do take part in card swaps. Our cafe crafter groups, we do a monthly swap. That is, we usually have like a little bit of a theme. Just usually, you know, like not necessarily, it's not that strict, but just has to be current Stampin' Up! Products. And then they bring me 6 to 8 cards. We swap them out, and we actually swap with another group from New Ulm. And then I get them back, and then I distribute them back to them. So then they get new ideas. So that's the best way to get ideas. And then there's some bigger ones that we take part in as well. So just, gosh, again, I kind of answered where I get my ideas from. As far as free product goes, I do get a product credit every quarter. So it's based on sales. So depending on, you know, how I did the quarter before, or if you're, you know, a demonstrator in the group, once you reach higher levels, you do get product credits to help offset some of that cost. But as you notice, usually when I have a post, let's see. Okay, I gotta focus. I have no focus. Okay, that's why I'm always telling you to use the host code. So that is how I'm able to offset a lot of the cost and able to give you guys free card classes and free little gifts for prizes and things like that, is because people are using the host code. And so then I can close out those host code and use that for product and card stock and embellishments and stamp sets and things like that. So Stampin' Up! Absolutely gives me all kinds of things. When you go to convention, my goodness. So if we're ever able to go to convention again live, and even this online one, we did an online one back in November. When you pay your $100 or whatever it is to go to convention, you get that back in product. They give you $100 in product basically when you go there, and prize patrols and things like that. Ask Heather Fisher. I wish she could talk right now. Heather, I wish you could talk. Ask Heather Fisher about going to convention. I hope she's okay. I think she had tears in her eyes. And then I had tears in my eyes because she was so excited. It was so fun. So someday we're going to be able to do that again. Not demonstrator related, but Susan on this last post, and then I'm going to go to these comments here. I'm pointing at you as if you can see me. Susan asked about the card sending group. She's a new stamper. Awesome. Welcome, welcome. What kind of themes might there be? I want to be sure I can do this skill-wise before I commit. Every skill. Beginner stampers, join this group. It's so fun. And so let me tell you, so you see Gail, right? So I always use Gail as an example. We could use, there's a few of you I could name, but like Gail, Sherry, Tessie, Connie, you know, a lot of them are like, they do crazy stuff. But let me tell you, Gail comes to almost all of my classes. She does. And she likes the simple cards too. So at home, she makes these like elaborate, crazy cards, but she comes to my classes and loves them. So your skill level can be whatever it is at, okay? Theme-wise, usually, and so I'm going to say the guideline. The guideline is going to be you know, and it'll be this and this. So I have it kind of set. So like let's just example, don't quote me on this. Okay. So don't start writing it down, but let's just say okay. So if you're wondering again, what I'm talking about, secret stamper card sending group. Okay. So if you want to join the secret stamper card sending group, that's what I'm talking about. There's a post on here and I'll remind you to join that if you want. It's a whole year long thing. You start in February, you send 2 cards a month, and then we'll have a wrap up Zoom party next February. Okay. So just example of a theme. It might be your choice. And like in March, maybe a spring card, spring theme. Say like next November or like, you know, let's see, what would like September might be fall/Halloween and your choice, or July might be a birthday and your choice. So there'll always be a couple of options in there, but you'll just send 2 cards a month. So, and then you'll get 2 back. So that's what that's kind of about. Now I need to find our questions here. I think there's maybe a lot of them. So I'll see what I can do. Oh, this is going longer. So if you're still here, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here and listening to me talk about my 5 years in stamping and how much we do want you all to join our Cafe Crafter group or just take part in that starter kit special, because it is a great deal. And I know there's some of you that have done it before. You can even answer and reply here. Like, I don't hassle anybody. I'm not going to call you and say, hey, ask Heather. Heather, did I ever call you and say, Heather, place that order, have that party? No. Now, if you want to, now I'm in a whole other group. Okay. So, now of course, if you want to do more, I do have other groups for that. I mean, there is other groups that I am part of that my Cafe Crafter group get to be part of if they want to. I have a business builders group, you know, I have, we've done private groups, things like that. So, there is definitely some other options. I'm going to see if I click on here. It never wants me to see it when it's like live. Oh, there I am. Okay. Holy cow, 50 comments, you guys. Hello. Oh, somebody said angry. I hope they're not angry at me. Gosh, maybe they thought my cards were ugly. Maybe it was an accident. I'm going to go with that. It was an accident. Why won't it let me see them? I wonder if I can like scroll. Okay, I can scroll on my phone. So I'm like hitting my phone now. So Connie said, have a great day. Okay. All right. I'm at the top here. Again, I'm going to enter you all in for Prize Patrol. And so Connie's in our demonstrator group, and so is Tessie. So they are like sideline sisters, and it is so great. Everybody is so helpful in our group. So Tessie was helping Connie place her order today. And then we kind of got it all figured out, I think. Deborah, yes, thank you so much for your order. I got those, and I will be sending you a message to get your free stamp set. So you can just place an order too. You do not have to do the starter kit special. This is just what I am talking about today because it's something special. I don't want to just ramble on about it during my regular Facebook Lives. So I really wanted to take some time to cover it. It is something that I used to do during every live event. Now, when I talked about the starter kit that first year, I was so nervous. I was so nervous to ask anybody to join me. And now, I don't care. I want you to join me, but if you don't want to, that's absolutely fine. It's fine. There's no pressure at all to do it. But now, think about this. So if your friend saw this sale over at Kohl's, right? And it was like 30% off, and then like 2 weeks later, nothing was on sale, and she didn't tell you, would you not say, hello, Susie, why didn't you tell me about that sale at Kohl's? Okay, so that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm just letting you know what the opportunities are. Okay, I gotta find my sheet too again. I lost it. I wanna make sure I don't miss anything on this sheet. So I'm gonna look here. So Emily said, let's see, why did I decide? Okay, so I did answer that. Why did I decide to go full time? Just so I could be home more. And I love stamping. I love doing this full time. Like, I love it. I'm so passionate about it. Emily said, what keeps me motivated? A new catalog. I mean, really, I was feeling a little bit down in the dumps. Not down in the dumps. That's not a good word for it. But towards the end of a catalog, it does. When you've kind of gone through all of your favorites, because secret time here too, I don't love everything. Not everything speaks to me. Some stuff I cannot like. I try to like everything, and I think, okay, I'm just going to see the right sample, but some things never speak to me. So by the end of a catalog, I'm needing new motivation. And just about that time, we get a new catalog. And this one, I don't know if my energy has ever been this high for a new catalog. I'm pretty excited about this new catalog. I just hope I didn't bring out all my favorites this last 3 days and then let you guys all down the next 6 months. But we'll have like another annual catalog and you know, whatever. Another thing that keeps me going is seeing the likes and the comments, and when people give me positive feedback. Sometimes even the negative feedback will get me a little motivated, because I'll be like, I'll show you, you know, if somebody says they don't like something. Or I'm gonna also talk, this might go on for a while. I got my tea. I better have a drink of my tea. I should have brought some wine. I should have got some wine or like a beverage, or Bloody Mary. I like Bloody Marys. But I do have some decaf tea because I started early morning workouts. 5:30 a.m. I'm getting up tomorrow to go work out. That's just stupid. But anyways, I'm doing it. When I stopped the cafe, I used to have to work at 6 a.m. and I used that as an excuse why I couldn't work out in the morning, because I had to work. Well, I've had a whole year. And so about, 3 months ago, I started early morning workouts, and then, you know, shut down, and now I'm back to it. So anyways, that's beside the point. What keeps me motivated? That is what keeps me motivated, is new catalogs and all the positive feedback. Oh, I was going to tell you the one thing that this motivates me too, but it makes me mad. So I got a little mad not mad, but a little bit hurt a couple weeks ago. Somebody thought that I believe they thought my email was a blog. I haven't blogged in like a year. I want to, trust me. I want to blog so badly, but it is hard. It's like, you know, you got to learn something. You got to learn it. So somebody thought that I had like this buy it now button. So they reported me to Stampin' Up, to compliance, like that I was doing something wrong. Now, if you got in trouble with compliance, you know, you could get some stuff taken away and I wouldn't be very happy, and I didn't break any rules. But so that was a little bit hurtful, that somebody was trying to find me doing something wrong and get me in trouble. But in a way that motivated me a little bit, because, you know, if you got someone out there that's maybe like going, let's check out what she's doing, it means you might be doing something right. So that's how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it from a positive point. All right, Burdell said, okay, I covered that. The food was awesome. Oh, I'm so glad that you enjoyed the food. I wish if I could be in 2 places at one time, I would do both jobs forever. I love it. I loved working at the cafe and waiting on people and all my favorite customers and stuff. But it was time after 26 years and my mom retiring. It was one of those things I didn't want to do by myself. I didn't see a spot for me doing it without her. So, because I had never done it without her and I didn't want to. And I had this other opportunity available. All right. Okay, let's see. Thank you all for the anniversary wishes. I love that it is my Stampin' Up anniversary, 5 years. Okay, I covered what paper packs, and Aline and we are going to talk on the phone so that I get your name right. I'm still so paranoid I'm saying your name right. So Aline sent me the pecans. I talked about that the other day. I had some of those plain salted pecans today. She's from Georgia. Amazing. If you can get some pecans from there. I had some of them on some yogurt and strawberries this afternoon after the Facebook Live. It was so good. All right, so what else am I answering here? I'm just going to go through here and see if there's anything that I need to answer. Yeah, Carrie and Burdell said it was fun going to the cafe, but they love the new space. I know, I wish we could be in this space just gathering and making noise and having bingo and cards, and I just wish it was filled with stampers. And yes, and I especially like it when it's clean. You know, the nice thing about this is it was a disaster before. Like that whole counter was like piled like 4 levels high. But when you do have a place for everything, it makes a difference. So I was able to clean up in like a half an hour. How can you be in the group when you live in another side of the country? You can be in this group as long as you are in the United States. You can be in the group. We have a private Facebook group. I communicate once a week with that group through a Facebook Live. We do a once a month Zoom. People do sharing in there. We share card projects we've made. You earn like you can earn little doodad like embellishments and things if you share so many times in a month. We do creative challenges and not hard, like post a birthday card. you know, not hard. And then you get in a drawing for stamp sets. We did an online convention. So kind of like what I just did these last 3 days, we just had one of those 2 weeks ago where it's all demonstrators sharing. So it's all kinds of people sharing, not just me. And I do it between two or one other group. So there's actually a pool then of like 60 of us to share ideas and things. And they're all over the country too. There's some from Arizona, and we do have people in our group from Connecticut and Texas and Arizona. Florida, I believe we have someone from. So we're growing and we have people from all over. So that's a good part. We're in a good spot with the size of our group. We're small enough where we can all still really get to know each other, and I can get to know each other one-on-one. But yet we have enough people in our group that we can have lots of things to share. Okay. And so there's lots of room. There is room for you in this group, let me tell you, for as long as you want to be here. And let's see, coming in a little late. Is there a quota? Okay, so there is, but not to start. So you can start anytime. So let's see, Susan asked if there is a quota. So it is $300 a quarter. Now, if you're, you know, taking a couple orders from someone else, or if you're just purchasing for yourself, it's really not all that much because you take 20% off of that. So what? Like 20, 40, 60, you take $60 off of that. So it's like $220 every 3 months. And then they always give you that grace month. And again, if you sign up right now, you actually have until July to make that $300. So, you know, it's not a huge quota for that extended amount of time if you want to stock up on some supplies and get 20% off. If we invest in this, okay, I'm reading Peggy's question. If we invest in this starter kit, does a discount apply to the Paper Pumpkin subscription? You cannot, you get the Paper Pumpkin in the starter kit, but you can get Paper Pumpkin after. So if you want to place your first order, this is like mind-blowing. So if you purchase the starter kit, get yourself some supplies to put your paper pumpkins together, because you know it's always nice to have like your own glue dots and, you know, a few little doodads. Use that for your 99. And then right now you can get the paper pumpkin. So say you want to do a full year. I don't know the cost. A whole year is right around $300 or so, just say. Place it in a $300 order, okay? Or one order, get it for a whole year, prepay it. Don't have to worry about it for a whole year. Then you're active now through like, I don't know, September or something. And then you'll get 15% or so free. So you get free product on top of that, the free hostess set, and 20% off of it. So, I mean, it's a great deal. So if you want to talk more about that, absolutely let me know. But if you're looking at a long-term Paper Pumpkin subscription, even a 6-month, I would highly advise someone to do the starter kit now and then move on to getting the starter kit or the Paper Pumpkin in your first order. All right, Heather Fisher, she said, if I changed the name of the cafe crafter, her husband would be lost. It's a group he remembers. Well, wonderful. I have heard that some husbands have watched my Facebook Lives. How does Stampin', I'm reading Connie's question, how does Stampin' Up! Decide if a set has a punch or a die? That's something I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. And I had replied to that. Connie had asked, what is second level? That was from back when I was talking about, I think I might have said second level, but I meant next level stamping. Like if you want to take your hobby to the next level, like I was joking this week that my stamping was next level stamping. That might be a new term that I coined. I don't know. I kind of like that, next level stamping, from my basic simple stamping to next level. Yeah. Okay. Or maybe that is what she means. Heather, so then Heather said, I think she means how I'm a second level under Heather. That could be. So in our Stamping Up world, there are 3 levels. So the perks of my group. So if you know, let's say, okay, so let's just say you're watching right now and Connie is your best friend. Okay. Or Tessie is your best friend, or whoever, somebody that's already a cafe crafter is your best friend, and you join. So now you would be my second level. Guess what? You get all of the same perks as my first level. Okay, so I treat all my levels the same. And of course, I mean, there's perks and there's cash bonuses and things like that that I offer, but that's something that doesn't even need to be talked about. Unless you want more information on that, we can talk about that one-on-one. There's some things that I do very specific to just our group. And let's see. Do I have a tax write-off for this amazing room I'm in? Yes, I do. I actually get to write off square footage. So it is almost our whole basement because I have a storage room and an office, and I call it the coffee room. Or I should say tea. I do tea. And so I am able to write off most of it. It's a percentage of like your utilities and things like that now that I have a dedicated space. So it's wonderful. Susan asked, because I was talking about scrapbooking, if I still scrapbook. I'm getting back into a little bit more than what I had. I did definitely take a break because I got busy. So when I first took over, or not took over, but started Stamping Up as a business, like doing even that 1 card class a month, I definitely scaled back on my scrapbooking. And then there was kind of a point of time where like, my scrapbook supplies weren't good enough anymore for me, because now I wanted them all to match, and I didn't have all of the stuff from Stamping Up. It took me a while to get my supply of, I didn't have all the 12 by 12 papers and all of that. And so now it would be hard for me to not coordinate my real reds and my crumb cakes. Everything has to be the same. But I don't judge anybody else's. I love everybody else's things. I love all crafting. Okay, so let's see. Deanna said that paper is beautiful. See, that's why I like you all. You are my people. Oh my gosh. Connie, will you be $1 million stamp set? How far am I? I am not close to 1 million. I will let you know when I am to the countdown. I have made it past the 100,000 mark, and I'm close to the 2, but I'm not close to 1 million. So we have a little while to celebrate that. Hey, another thing, so if I could pick like 10 things I like, I love my logo products. My whole wardrobe is in coffee mugs, and everything is like Stampin' Up. You know, like those people that are like, if you're a Harley person, no offense, but our cafe had a lot of we actually had motorcycle ride-ins there, or like breakfast roll-ins. And so you notice those people that rode motorcycles, and my dad was one of them. He didn't have a Harley, he had a Victory. But like every t-shirt he owned was a Victory. And everything is Harley, the jeans, the shoes, the bandana, whatever. That's kind of how I am with Stampin' Up. I can walk out of the house with like a tote bag, my purse. I did leave the house with my apron. I got a sweatshirt, a t-shirt, I have a coat, and maybe a backpack even. So I've definitely kind of turned into a bag lady, a Stampin' Up lady. Okay, let's see. I think, I'm reading. Heather again said, I think having things to do while we try not to go insane is essential. Yes, I know. I have thought of that many times. Like if I didn't have crafting during this whole like shutdown thing, like what would I do? Like what do people do that don't have a hobby? Now, maybe like stamping isn't their hobby, but like people that have no hobby. Like I know a lot of people that quilt and things like that, and they've really been enhancing their quilting or knitting or, craft or like painting or whatever you do. But what if you don't have any of that? What do you do? Like what do people do with their time? I don't know. I don't know what people do. Okay, so yes, definitely mental health, Connie. All right, so Susan, she might have missed it from earlier. Is her quota? Yes, so I did just talk about that. I'm glad that you're talking back to me, Heather. I just saw that. It looks like we're coming to the end. So if anybody has any more questions, ask them, because I'm just scrolling down. Let's see, if you have only been doing this full-time for a year, how did I get to go on so many trips already? Gosh, so yeah, so it has been 5 years, and I have earned four trips. So I've earned 4 and almost 5 out of 5 years. Yeah. I would say setting goals. I set a goal, and I wasn't going to stop until I got it. And I did the math. And so if anybody that joins my group, I don't have anybody now that's interested in the trip, but I do work with, gosh, my hair's getting messy. It's probably been messy the whole time. I haven't touched it. But I actually work with a couple of people I work with, actually, I work in a training group, or work with a training group where they train me. So I have someone that I work with training where we really break down the numbers. And so that's what it really got me doing, is to figure out, actually, it's not that hard to do if you set some goals and you know how to get there. You know the math, how to get there, with how many sales you need, how many events you need to do. And that also kept me motivated because, like I said, I love to travel. So I guess lots of consistency would be a big thing, and how those things can happen. Let's see. I think that is getting to the end. Oh, wonderful. I'm so glad that you all watched. And Connie said great customer support. So they had a call Stampin' Up today. They do have great customer support. I am going to make sure I kind of go over this other sheet real quick too, because of course I'm not in a hurry. If you are, that's fine. You can go to bed. You can watch tomorrow. I'll just keep talking to myself until it's my anniversary tomorrow. Again, like, my husband's not home. I do have the kids home, but they could care less about hanging out with me. I try to get them to come and hang out with me, you know, but they don't really care. I have to like follow them around room to room. So I'm just rambling while I work through these comments. All right. Thank you, Heather, for watching. She said she had to go. Stampin' Up needs more clothes. So yeah, so as a demonstrator, there is like a supply item list where they have some sweaters and t-shirts and sweatshirts and things. So hopefully they'll be coming out with some new ones. What is the youngest? So last question, it looks like, where's the dog? Oh gosh. Okay. All right. So what was this one? Okay. Stampin' Up needs more. I'm sorry if I look like I'm squinting. I kind of am, I guess. What is the youngest age person signed up under me? I don't know. Gosh, is Heather Riegert maybe the youngest? Gosh, you're putting me on the spot. So I don't know, maybe 30? Upper 20s? I don't think she's 30. There's no way she's 30. So I don't know. So yeah, I would say we have anywhere from age like 28-ish up to 80. So we have everywhere in between. Let's see. I don't have any men in my team. I would welcome anybody that wants to join though. And last question, Cindy asked, where is the dog? Well, Melody, I don't know where she is. She's not hanging out with me lately because Allison is home full time. So she hasn't been hanging out with me, but she's been really wild lately. Like she just goes, we call it the zippies. She gets a little crazy. All right. So if anybody is still watching, I'm just going to make sure I brushed over all of this. So this will be posted. You'll see this a few times this month and next month. Feel free to look at it, soak in this information today. If it applies to you, great. If it does not, that is okay too. Here, I'm not here to pressure anybody. I'm just here to talk about what I do and an opportunity for you. And now I am not telling anybody that they should buy this kit and do what I do. What I'm telling you is you can do this as a hobby. Of our group of 30 or so people, I have maybe just a handful that run some classes or did run some classes when it was in person. So there's no need to think that I'm going to tell you you should do lots of classes and all of this and that and the other. It's just a great special, everybody. Okay, so additional perks of our Cafe Crafter group, if I did not cover it, of course, the ongoing discount, weekly Facebook Lives, not in the Stamp and Scrap Tammy page. This is in the other page where I just kind of go over what Stampin' Up has to talk about if there's anything new. As time allows and as I get a little bit handier with the camera and things like that, I will like to add some additional things and creative ideas there as I can. And we're, adding in some more Zooms and things like that. Private Facebook group, lots of creative ideas shared in there by everybody in the group that wants to. Again, you don't have to, you can just be like a lurker in the group. You can just like sit on the sidelines and watch. You don't have to participate if you don't want to, but I love it when you do. If you like to create things and you want to share, because this is a good point. Okay, so kind of like that paper, you're like normal friends, let's call them. Or maybe we're the normal ones and they're not the normal ones. But anyways, so if you show, like, say you make something really cute and you show your husband or your significant other or your friend or your dog or somebody, they're just going to go, oh, wow, that's really pretty. Now, my husband over time has learned to say, wow, that looks great. Okay. But I don't think he's genuine. But you share with that crafting group. You can, Deanna, you've been in our group before and you are welcome to join us again. But we're gonna ooh and ah and tell you how much we like it, and then we'll probably even create it and copy it because we love it so much. And we welcome that. We welcome everybody, or I do anyways, and our whole group does, welcomes everybody to create and kind of copycat, and we call it case. So that's a fancy word for remaking somebody else's work, is casing somebody else. So let's see. All Stamp and Scrap tutorials, I put a $25 value on that because that is what I charge about $12 per tutorial when I do just sell my tutorial. So that's at least a $25 value. And you will also get my conventions. So I'm just starting to do conventions, or like, I think that's what I call it. Yeah. Or not a convention. What is it called? Retreats. So like a retreat in a box. So there's going to be 3 full classes, including a Gale class in that. And you'll get, and our Cafe Crafter team will get tutorials for all of that. Card swaps, lots of fun there. There's, more opportunity to swap cards other than just with our group if you want to too. Traveling, and I wrote someday. And traveling mean, I'm not talking about that you have to do all kinds of things to earn a incentive trip. You can, but you don't have to. Traveling, what I mean is like going to convention, a girls trip, we were supposed to go to Utah this last year for a convention. Gail and Sherry and I went to Orlando for a week. Amazing time. Just sharing with like-minded people. Heather, we went to Lansing, Michigan. Who knew that Lansing, Michigan could be so much fun? Gail and I went with another group to Milwaukee, and I've been to Utah, and and so on, in Minneapolis, and just all kinds of opportunity to travel to conventions if you like that, but you don't have to do that. And then Team Time mini conventions, right now those have been all virtual. We will always keep a virtual aspect to that. We started them virtual. We plan to move them at in-person at some point, but we will always maintain some sort of virtual part of our Team Time conventions. That's a convention that I do with other demonstrators that not put on by Stampin' Up, just put on by demonstrators for a few of our groups. And again, we have people all over that do that. Pre-order new stuff early. So like right now, hey, here's a sneak peek. There's a Hey Chick stamp set coming out. Do you remember that one from Celebration? Like not last year, but the year before. And there's like a chicken set in the catalog now. There's going to be die cuts that go with that. And they're bringing back that chicken set. So if you're a demonstrator, you can get that now. And if you want that now, you can put that in your starter kit. So that's just like a little like sneak peek kind of thing. So pre-order new stuff early, get the catalogs early, things like that. Creative challenges in our group. This month's creative challenge. Now, if you're thinking challenge, that must be hard. Remember, you're still talking to me. Simple Stamping Tammy is, this month, it's a birthday card. Make a birthday card. That's it. And you share it under the post that I say creative challenge, and you get entered in for a stamp set. Totally optional, free leadership group, opportunity to win free product. And I added in there, I give away a lot of stuff, and I do. And as our group grows and the better our group does, the more stuff I give away. So there's lots of opportunity to get some free stuff from me. And there is more. And I think I covered almost everything that I can even think of during this live. So I think I am going to end here. I don't know if there's anybody still watching. I sure hope there is. So I hope that you gave me a like, gave me a love, a heart, whatever. And tell your friends about the opportunity, whether you're interested or not. But we have a couple months to talk about this special, and it's always a great special, even without that paper. And yeah, so that's it. This is going to wrap up our very virtual catalog launch party. And I will do all of the door prizes and things like that in a few days. So I have to get out all of the people that have ordered all of their like free stamp set choices and things like that. So don't look for the winners for the door prizes probably until next week. I've got a kind of a busy few days with paper shares and et cetera, whatever. But if you have any questions about this opportunity that I've talked about today and you want to reach out to me about it and you need help picking out some stuff if you want to join, let me know and I can walk you through that. I'm not too terribly busy to do stuff like that. I can definitely help or place an order if you just want to place an order. I can talk to you about that too. But the door prizes, we'll do that next week. So that also gives people the opportunity to go back and watch and like and participate. So I'll probably first do that like next Tuesday. Okay, so sound good to everybody? All right, so tomorrow I'm going to just be back to creating something cool. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but I better figure it out by 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. So 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, back in Stamp and Scrap Tammy page, and we'll just do some regular crafting. If you have any questions before now and then, send me a message. Don't know if I'll reply because I got to get to bed to get to that like 5:30 a.m. workout to get home to create something to show up at 11. And then I'm going to take a nap tomorrow afternoon. So that's what's really great about this flexible schedule is I can take a nap tomorrow. Okay, I got to go. I can just keep going on and on. All right. Thanks again, everybody. We will talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.